In this section, we're going to quickly browse through some of the sound effects and music we'll be using in this course. The 850 plus sound effects and music cues we're giving you to work with fall into two main categories. First, we have the free stuff. The free audio elements include a ton of fight sound effects and Foley, and also a bunch of basic sound design elements like whooshes, rises, drones, and so on. These cues are 100% free to use for anything you might need, whether it's just working on this course or even in a commercial project in a professional setting. These totally free cues that don't need to be licensed make up about 95% of the audio clips we're giving you to work with. Which brings us to the pay stuff. The pay audio files include a few different music cues as well as a good selection of additional pieces of sound design. These are high-end pieces of sound design and music created by one of our great partners, High Finesse Music and Sound. Just like the free stuff, any of these tracks can also be used when working on this course and just for general learning and practice. But please don't distribute them or use them in any sort of professional or commercial project without first licensing them. You'll be able to tell which cues are from the High Finesse library because they're labeled with Hi-Fi in the name. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly open up each of these audio bins. Got our Foley, our music, our free sound effects, our hi-fi sound effects, and our wild lines. And I'm just going to drop them all over here, put them all in tabs. Alright, so you can see in the Foley here, we have things like air whooshes for when like an arm or a leg is traveling through the air quickly. Something that sounds like this. We have lots of different punches with and without whooshes attached to them. Breaks. We have light punches, heavy punches for all different types of scenarios. We have, scroll down here a little bit, lots of different human vocalizations. So we have grunts for after a character is hit. And we also have grunts for when somebody is exerting effort, like before a punch is thrown or before a move is executed. Sometimes they sound a little bit similar, but they're all going to be helpful depending on the situation. Kick sound effects, face slaps, feet scuffling on the ground. We have coughing, which is really useful after somebody's been knocked out and they may be laying around on the ground. Add a little bit of coughing to your sound layers, and it kind of gives the impression that they're not doing so good and they're kind of trying to recover from whatever impact that they just took. Clothing, rustling, as fighters are moving around quickly. Cloth grabs, bone breaks, body hits, and I think that's about it. Yeah, some blocks. All right, so moving on to the music, we have 3 music cues that we're giving you to work with here in the course. I believe that too many options can sometimes be a bad thing, so I try to kind of narrow it down to 3 cues that'll give you a very different fight scene depending on which one you use. And that's not to say you even have to use music. You can make a very effective fight scene just with drones and other sound design elements and keep it a little bit more au naturel. We have the hi-fi sound effects in here. These are things like rises. Add that to sweeten a punch. Lots of drones. Bunch of hits in here. Some stingers, which is kind of like a whoosh and a hit all mixed together. And a couple other things that are going to be pretty handy. So feel free to look through all those, and we'll definitely dive more into that once we get to the sound design part of the course. And you know what? I'm going to skip over wild lines for a second and just go to look at the sound effects free. So here we have obviously a lot more sound effects than we have in the hi-fi library. And like I said before, these are all free to use for this project or for any other project. And there's a pretty good variety of them. Lots of hits, lots of whooshes, a couple rises. And it's just going to, if you want to organize these a little bit further, or if you want to go listen to them and kind of wrap your mind around what they have to offer, it's not a bad idea just to kind of establish some of your favorites. But we'll definitely be going into some detail about some of my favorites once we get to that point. All right, and then the wild lines. And these are lines that we recorded after the fight was already filmed to kind of spice it up a little bit and create a little bit more atmosphere and character involvement throughout the scene. So you can see you got people kind of cursing at each other. You got Lots of kind of trepidation and scared vocalizations from Erica that we recorded, and just general character interactions that are going to be kind of enriching for the scene. We definitely have plenty of variety to cover just about anything we want to do with our scene. And as you could probably tell, the quality of this audio is very high, which is an absolute requirement when you want to create a professional mix. Coming up, we're going to look at a sneak preview of what the final scene is going to look like after we're done editing it. See you in a bit.